In the year 2000, in the United States, printed and visual media flooded the waves with information about stem cell transplantation, which was presented as a completely new field of medical science and a US gift to mankind. Interestingly enough, there was absolutely no linkage to cell transplantation or cell therapy, which has been, very recognized treatment for the past 8 years, officially born in 1931 in Switzerland. And it's also very important to realize that it was introduced to the world as cell therapy, or in German term, Zellentherapie. In German language does not recognize technical term cell transplantation. What I recognize is the term Zellentherapie, which by definition meant use of animal fetal cells for treatment. That is what Zellentherapie is. Cell transplantation is cell transplantation in general, so it is not so narrowly focused. Right? Now this therapy was born actually even before Switzerland. Officially was born in Soviet Union, where it was declared a therapy in 20s. Okay, now, but the real birth of this was in 1883, when a world famous physiologist, a French member of Academy of Sciences, well known to every medical student because he published some 550 medical articles in his lifetime. His name was Brown-Séquard, discovered the truth on himself. As an elderly man and a widower, he was convinced that he has to remarry. And as was the customs in those days, he of course remarried a woman substantially younger than he was. And he encountered, of course, certain problems, at home. And as an honest scientist, he tried to solve the problem. And so he came to the decision that it would be a very good idea to take a testicular tissue from a rooster and implant in his own body. And he was very pleased with the outcome. And he was such a proud man that he, at the next meeting of the French Academy of Sciences that he was a member of, he informed the fellow academicians what he has done to himself. And thereby this therapy was actually born. Okay. Eventually, this therapy was spread throughout Western Europe, but the official father of this therapy was Professor Nihans, who, in 1931, saved the life of a woman. Very world-famous surgeon in Bern, Switzerland, who is known to in every textbook of surgery, was taking out both lobes of thyroid on this particular patient. And what is peculiar about the anatomy, that at the periphery of thyroid gland, there are 4 tiny glands which are called parathyroids. Now these tiny glands are responsible for handling metabolism of calcium and phosphorus in the body. Without those tiny glands, you cannot live, because you will die as a result of fall of the calcium level, and a condition of tetany develops and eventually choke to death. So when Professor Nihans was informed that this professor is trying to get a hold of him to save the woman's life, he stopped by on his way to the hospital in the slaughterhouse and collected several of the parathyroids from a calf of the cattle, and brought it to the hospital. But he recognized in the operating room that the woman is dying, that she's not going to make it through his preparation, even for the most minor surgery, to implant these glands. So he quickly put it on the table, took a knife and chopped it up like an onion, loaded it into the syringe and injected it. And he was expecting that the only thing he will accomplish to buy 2-3 days, because there is some hormone, parathyroid hormone in that onionized gland. And to his great surprise, the woman lived happily for 21 years. So then the idea of implanting these cells by injection was born. And that is what cell therapy is all about. Zellentherapie or cell transplantation by the old concept, Cell transplantation became very popular in Europe and was documented in thousands of medical articles. Regretfully for the situation in the United States and the Anglophone world, this was all published in German and Russian. Okay, and amazingly enough, and for reasons completely unknown, U.S. government banned cell therapy in 1956. Nobody knows why. There is some story behind it, but which allegedly caused this, but is not really proven. The truth of the matter is, if you go to any library of any U.S. medical school, and you will look for certain 5 top German medical journals that routinely have been used in Germany to publish articles about cell therapy, you will find that all the issues until 1956 are there, nothing after 1956. Likewise, you will not find any textbook in German language, a medical textbook dealing with cell therapy. Now, the fact that there are nothing in the Russian language, that is nothing surprising, because Soviet Union was the mortal enemy of this country, so one can logically explain it. But why from Germany? That truly is art. Anyway, then in year 2000, suddenly stem cell transplantation was born in the United States. Very shortly thereafter, publications appeared, you see. And the question is, I don't know where these genius newcomers to this field that did not know 1 year earlier what cell transplantation is all about, suddenly were able to publish articles when there was no literature to look at in this country. In other words, and unless you had a direct connection to Germany or to Soviet Union and could actually start to cooperate with people there, suddenly there were articles published here which, frankly speaking, were so full of nonsense that this became a laughing stock of the U.S. medicine in Europe, because everybody that knows something about it, if you read an article written by somebody that knows nothing about anything, you see, then naturally you will recognize it after reading the first 2 sentences that you are talking about article written by a dilettante, and that is what exactly happened here. But up until now, the situation is such that that the world is flooded by the articles from the United States, written by this kind of experts, and believe me, they are coming from big places, starting with Harvard, and on down. And but at the same time, they are totally confusing, you see. And one of the what is very interesting, in all of these publications that you find from the United States, you will not find among references a single publication from Germany or Soviet Union. See, not a single one. Now, you see, in medicine it is like that. In medicine, the previous generation discovers something. The next generation comes in, it will build on what was discovered before. And then it goes on and on and on and on, you see. Anatomy is not started every 20 years, you see. What we know about anatomy was, started sometimes in the 15th century, and building on, the first textbook and so on and so forth. And the same applies to any field of medicine. You just cannot, start, this is not like, building up a, brand new computer, or some genius coming in and creating Apple, computer or anything of that sort. Human body is not changing that fast, you see. So you cannot really say that this is something brand new, because there is never anything completely new in medicine, okay? And as a result of it, to say that, look, we have discovered all of this ourselves in the United States, and totally ignoring what was done before, that is sort of, more of a joke than a reality. New discovery from the United States came because this U.S. scientist declared that the only type of stem cell transplantation that is valid is embryonic stem cell transplantation. Now, the problem is in Europe or the Soviet Union, nobody would ever consider using anything from embryo, for this type of purpose. Why? Because embryonic cells and cancer cells are the same. That is what cancer is all about. That the cells, normal cells of the body, will go backward in the development until they reach embryonic stage, because in embryonic stage anything can happen. If you implant embryonic stem cells, into a patient's body, and the patient will be found 3 years later to have cancer, you have no defense in court of law that your treatment did not induce this. As a matter of fact, the bad words are out that in the United States, as a result of this kind of treatment, there were patients here that died of cancer subsequent to embryonic stem cell transplantation. Once more, in Europe, this has never been done, okay, now. And the second step was that in the United States declaration was made that the embryonic stem cell transplantation has to be of human origin, okay? Totally ignoring the fact that in nature it is like that, the human being is just another member of animal kingdom. Yes, we are on the top, but we cannot declare that we are different. In terms of the building blocks, of our body, the cells, we are the same. At least when it comes to mammals, and I will get to that.